Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about Star Wars, or The Mandalorian in this case. If you guys have seen the recent episode of The Mandalorian called The Jedi, Ahsoka Tano is in there. So this is going to be a little bit of spoilers. I guess I should warn that now. Yeah, I want to give a theory video here on, well, if you've seen the episode, towards the end of the episode, Ahsoka Tano tells Din Djarin that she didn't want to train baby Grogu. So she tells Mando to take the baby, or to take Grogu to a Jedi temple, one of the first Jedi temples located on another planet. I forgot what the planet's name is called right now. But apparently that's where he's going right now. And she also told him that once he places him on a rock, sometimes a Jedi appears. So I think this is pretty cool information. But she also did say, I should also say, she also said that there's not too many Jedi around here. So it kind of limits the idea on who this Jedi can be. And there have been a lot of guesses. Three names in particular I've been hearing the most. A fourth one has been popping up a lot lately for two different reasons. But one of them I'll save that other theory that for something else for another time. Right now I'm here to talk about which Jedi is going to show up in The Mandalorian that Ahsoka Tano has probably been hinting at in this episode. So there are three. Let's get right into it. These are the three choices that I've been hearing the most, and I'll add the fourth one in also. One Jedi that I've heard the most about is Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels. Those of you that have not seen Rebels, he's practically the main character in Rebels. He's a young teenage Jedi who is being trained by Kanan. At the end of Star Wars Rebels, though, he gets blasted off somewhere where we don't know. We don't know if he was dead. We don't know if he's alive. They've hinted that he could still be alive. And we got more evidence of this in this week's episode of The Mandalorian, because he was last seen with Thrawn, Admiral Thrawn, who is the blue skin villain, who was a villain in the last two seasons of the Clone Wars. Sorry, not Clone Wars, Rebels. And so that can, if he's still alive, Ezra could still be alive as well. And some people are believing, and very reasonable. So, because this show, Dave Filoni, who was the showrunner on both Rebels and Clone Wars, clearly has been integrating a lot from those two shows into this show. Some things, even if it's just minor things, whether it's creatures or whatever, his influence is clearly in the show. Jon Favreau might be captain, but he's listening to his number one. Star Trek, you have Captain Picard, and then he has his number one, which is Riker. Dave Filoni is essentially Commander Riker for this series. It's weird that I'm making a Star Trek reference for a Star Wars show, but it makes things easier to understand, maybe. Especially if you're a full-out nerd like I am. I'm a nerd of almost a lot of things, so... but I'm a bigger Star Wars fan, I promise. So when Ezra showing up on The Mandalorian makes a lot of sense, actually, when you think about it in those terms. And it's the one that if they did bring in Ezra, it would be really cool to see him in live action, but it would be the most obvious route for the show to go to. Maybe there's another obvious choice, which is my choice, which I'm going to say for last. Another character that a lot of people are talking about is Cal Kestis. Now, this is a character that was in the video game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which takes place roughly 5 years after Order 66, which is after Revenge of the Sith. Order 66 is where Revenge of the Sith takes place during, because, the Emperor, he says, execute Order 66, and all the Jedi die. He was one of the last surviving Jedi we see, And I'm going to admit, I don't know too much about Cal Kestis because I never played the game. I have been watching the cutscenes right now to catch up a little bit with his story, to see where he came from and where he's going. So, look, if he's still alive out there, yeah, but let's also remember he was really young in that video game, right? According to, I Googled it up to see where he was around. Apparently, around Order 66, he should have been around like 12 or 13. So that would make him roughly 17 years ish, around the time of that video game. So he would probably be in his 30s by this point, maybe reaching his 40s. Ahsoka Tano, I guess, would be somewhere around that time too, right? So she would be probably in her early 40s to mid 40s, I would guess. Because she was she was a teenager during the Clone Wars as well. So, and the Clone Wars only lasted for what, 2-3 years. So yeah, he should be he should be an older character. So I think if they do bring him into the Mandalorian, I don't think it would be played by Cameron Monaghan, because I really like him as an actor. I loved him in Gotham, where he got to play the Joker. The episodes that he appeared in were some of the best episodes of Gotham. So it's not him as an actor that I'm worried about. It's his age, because he is a really young guy. I think he's like in his early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. So I don't know if he could play the character, if the character is supposed to be in his mid to late 30s. Maybe he could. Who knows? Age doesn't really seem to matter too much in the world of Star Wars. Depending on the species anyways. But look, if they did bring him in, that would be awesome. But I just don't know if they would bring that actor in exactly, or if they would recast a slightly older actor for the role. Finally, the third choice that I've been hearing a lot, and one that I thought of first when I heard those lines being said that the Jedi would show up there, is Luke Skywalker. Luke is an obvious choice, but maybe not the easiest choice to bring in. Luke is around during this time. The show only takes place roughly 5 years after Return of the Jedi, which means Luke wouldn't have aged that much. So you would need to bring Mark Hamill, essentially, right? And if they did, that means they would have to de-age Mark Hamill a lot. Now, the show looks like it's great quality and they have a really great budget. I don't know if their budget would allow them to de-age an actor, especially someone as old as Mark Hamill. Which brings option number 2. Would they recast Mark Hamill? Recast the role of Luke Skywalker? A lot of people, fan castings, everybody has seen it by now. Sebastian Stan looks a lot like Mark Hamill. There are those comparison photos, even photos with side by side of Mark Hamill and then Sebastian Stan with Mark Hamill's hair, which people's minds were blown because they realized, holy shit, this guy looks like a clone of Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill himself has even joked that Sebastian Stan is his long lost son. Or they could always recast someone entirely new that we haven't seen before that looks slightly like Mark Hamill or close enough, or Mark Hamill sounding. I don't know. It's a tricky role to bring into the show depending on how they do it. Other than that, there is one more theory that I've been hearing a lot lately. And get ready for this one, hardcore Star Wars fans, because I don't know if they should do this one. I'm hearing a lot about Mace Windu. Samuel Jackson as Mace Windu. He wants to return to Star Wars. He's been yelling about it from the hilltops for a long time now. A lot of people think, you never saw the body when he flew out the window. Is he dead? We don't know. It was never confirmed. It's possible that he could return, and even Samuel Jackson has said that, hey, you just saw me flown out a window. You never saw me die. Jedis can land easily on their feet. I mean, yeah, I could see them trying to twist that reality, but I also think that as much as I felt that Mace Windu's death was cheapened a little bit, the way it went out, I do think some characters need to stay dead and not always rise back from the grave. Oh, we actually didn't die. We're still alive. I would love a Mace Windu prequel series that takes place before all that stuff, maybe in his teenage years. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to bring back Samuel Jackson for that. But you'll never know. I mean, a lot of people are already theorizing something else. Maybe I'll get to that another time. But as for him being the Jedi that shows up, I think this is the least likely. But you'll never know because Samuel Jackson does have connections with Jon Favreau. You know, if you go back and watch the first Iron Man movie, which Jon Favreau directed, Samuel Jackson shows up in the end credits as Nick Fury. So I mean, there is a friendship there, obviously behind the scenes that we know about. Look, whatever they decide to do, I think I'm going to be shocked either way. I'm going to be like, what? And I'm going to have to talk about it in my review next time. So I don't know when this is going to be revealed. You would have to think that if it was Luke, the beans would have been spilt by now. But hey, anything is possible. So with that being said, guys, leave down your theories in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. Who do you think is going to show up? Which Jedi? Do you think it's any of these four? Or do you think there's another Jedi that I'm not even thinking of that could be a possibility? Who knows how many Jedi are still alive after the Order 66? I mean, maybe there's even Jedi that I'm not even thinking of. So with that being said, until next time, take care.